Hello S2 History and welcome to your next lesson. Today we are looking at S2 History, a source comparison question, which we're going to learn how to answer this and answer a question on World War I. So in your jotter, if you want to take a heading which is S2 History source comparison question, or if you're doing this on a Word document, if you want to type the heading S2 History source comparison question. So our different types of questions which we answer in history. You've got knowledge and understanding questions here, so we do a describe question, and explain a mini essay type of question. The source handling questions, we do a source comparison, evaluate usefulness, and a how fully. You'll see all our questions have Disney mascots now. So we've got Pumbaa and Timon from Lion King for the source comparison question, which we're going to focus on today, and it's worth 4 marks. Okay, so our aims today, what we're looking to do by the end of this presentation is to know how to answer a source comparison question and to have attempted a question, which we're going to look at on World War I. So key information on this type of question is worth 4 marks. And the purpose of this question is to compare two sources. You will be given two sources and you need to decide if they agree or disagree. Now they will either completely agree with each other or disagree. They won't do both. Now when it comes to a test or an exam that you actually do, if you decide to pick history for SC then into National 5, then there's always two source comparison questions that you'd answer in the final exam. Now, where do you get the 4 marks? Now, you get 1 mark for an overall comparison, so that's where you state if the sources agree or disagree about the topic. You then get a mark for a simple comparison, so you state what the sources agree or disagree on, and then you get a mark for a developed comparison, so try and give quotes to match this. Now, this is how we answer this question, 3 simple steps. So step number 1, your overall comparison. So you would say overall sources A and B agree / disagree about, and use the one of the questions. So you'll say they either agree or they disagree, and that would get you a mark. Then you find points from the source that they agree or disagree on. So for example, you would say the sources agree about and say what they agree on, or the sources disagree about and say what they disagree on. Then step number 3, you try and find the quotes to match this. So as source A states, quote from the source, and source B agrees or disagrees when it states, quote from the source. Once you've done that, you then look to repeat steps 2 and 3 to guarantee yourself the 4 marks. Now here's an example here. So we've got here sources B and C are about the town of Kirriemuir. So we've got source B. Kirriemuir is a town in Angus near Forfar. It has a long and interesting history, and records show strong links between the town and Peter Pan. The town itself is in a rural setting and is very close to many excellent walks. Kirriemuir has lots of local shops. It also has a high school which caters for pupils from Kirriemuir and the surrounding area. Source C. Many people have heard of Kirriemuir. The creator of Peter Pan was born in the town. It has one high school called Webster's High School. Many people who live in Kirriemuir work in the local area. It is also close to other well-known places including Forfar. There is also a high school in Forfar which has recently moved to a new building. So your question, compare the views of sources B and C about the town of Kirriemuir, worth 4 marks. Now your answer for this question, hopefully you would see that sources B and C agree about the town of Kirriemuir, so that would get you 1 mark. Then you're going to say the sources agree about the town being close to Forfar, so there's 1 mark for a simple comparison. As source B states, Kirriemuir is a town in Angus near Forfar, and source C agrees when it states it is also close to other well-known places including Forfar, so there's another mark, so you'd have 3 marks so far there. The sources also agree about the town having strong links to Peter Pan, so there's a mark for a simple comparison. As source B states, it has long and interesting history and records show strong links between the town and Peter Pan, and source C agrees when it states the creator of Peter Pan was born in the town, so there's another mark there. Now up to that point that would actually be enough to guarantee yourself the 4 marks. However, if you want to do a third comparison, because the sources will always have 3 things that they either agree or disagree about, you've got here, the sources also agree about the town having a high school, so there's 1 mark. As source B states, it also has a high school which caters for pupils from Kirriemuir and the surrounding area, and source C agrees when it states it has one high school called Webster's High School. Okay, so the question you're going to answer. Sources B and C are about conditions in the trenches. Source B. I sincerely hope it will not freeze. It is so hard on the poor men in trenches standing in very deep mud. Water is often up to their waists. A frost will mean so many frozen feet. I spent my New Year's Eve in a dugout lying on a stretcher on the floor with a wounded man over me. Rats were playing about all over. Shells burst all around and shook the place. Source C. If anyone had to go to the company on our right, he had to walk through 30 yards of waterlogged trench, which was chest deep in water in some places. The duckboard track was constantly shelved, and in places 100 yards of it had been blown to smithereens. It was better to keep off the track when walking back and forth. Soldiers had to make their way sometimes through very heavy mud. So your question is, compare the views of sources B and C about conditions in the trenches. So the template you're looking to use here to help you. So overall sources A and B agree / disagree about conditions in the trenches. So you need to decide if they either agree or they disagree. The sources agree / disagree about, so say something that they agree or disagree about, and then try and find the quotes to match that. As source A states, quote from the source, and source B agrees or disagrees when it states, quote from the source. Then you look to repeat steps 2 and 3. So that's what you're looking to do for this lesson, to answer the source comparison question on trenches. If you have any issues about anything discussed in this lesson, then just let your class teacher know. Thank you.